There are moments that change our lives forever, but we rarely know which ones they are while they're happening. For Ethan Cole, a man whose name meant power, money, and success, that moment came on a cold December afternoon when a fragile voice asked, "Do you have any expired cake, sir?" The city of New York shimmered in winter lights. Skyscrapers sparkled like diamonds, and at the top of one of them sat Ethan Cole, a billionaire CEO, polished shoes, empty eyes. He had built his empire from nothing, orphaned at 12, billionaire by 32. Now at 48, he had everything except peace. His penthouse overlooked Central Park, yet he never looked outside. His meals were plated by chefs, yet he barely ate. Every night he stared at a picture frame on his desk of a woman holding a little girl. The woman was his late fiancée, Clara, who had died 15 years ago in a car crash. And the little girl in the photo. He didn't know who she was. He found the picture wedged in Clara's diary years after her death. No name, no date, just the words written on the back. "Promise me you'll find her." He never did. It was snowing that day. Ethan's chauffeur dropped him off near a small corner bakery, Millie's Cakes. He wasn't supposed to be there. His board meeting was in 20 minutes, but something about the smell of baked bread stopped him. He stepped inside, warmth, vanilla, cinnamon. Behind the counter, a cheerful old woman smiled. "Good afternoon, sir. Can I help you?" Ethan nodded absently. "Just a coffee." As he reached for his wallet, a small, shivering voice spoke from behind him. "Excuse me, ma'am, do you have any expired cake?" Everyone turned. At the door stood a young homeless girl, maybe 16, wrapped in a torn hoodie, her hair matted from the snow. Her eyes, wide, brown, and desperate, avoided everyone's gaze. The bakery fell silent. The old woman hesitated. "Sweetheart, we don't really keep expired cakes here." The girl lowered her head. "I'm sorry, I just thought maybe the ones you were throwing out." Ethan looked at her, really looked at her for the first time. Her cheeks were pale, but her posture was proud. She wasn't begging for pity, she was asking for dignity. He quietly said, "Wrap her a fresh one, and make it large." The girl froze. "Sir, I didn't mean." "It's fine," Ethan interrupted. "Everyone deserves cake on a cold day." He paid, handed her the box. But when she tried to thank him, her lips trembled. She whispered only, "You have the same eyes as my mom." And before he could ask what she meant, she ran out into the snow. Mantelpiece rising action, the man who couldn't forget. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. Her words echoed, "The same eyes as my mom." He replayed the moment, the girl's face, her tone. Something felt painfully familiar. The next morning, he returned to the bakery. "That girl who came yesterday, do you know her?" The old baker shook her head. "She comes once in a while, never says much, always asks for expired cake, calls herself Lily." Lily. The name hit something deep in Ethan's memory. He opened Clara's diary again, and there it was. A line he'd never noticed before, scrawled in fading ink. "If anything happens to me, promise me Lily will be okay." His breath caught. Could it be her, Clara's daughter? But how Clara never had a child, or did she? Over the next week, Ethan instructed his driver to search for the girl every day. They combed through alleys, shelters, soup kitchens, nothing. Until one night, near an abandoned church, he saw her again, sitting beside a stray dog, sharing her last piece of bread. He approached quietly. "Lily." She flinched, ready to run. "It's okay," he said softly. "I brought food." He set a thermos of soup beside her. For the first time, she looked at him without fear. "Why are you helping me?" He hesitated. "Because someone once helped me." She smiled faintly. "Then I'll make sure I help someone too when I grow up." They ate together in silence. That night, Ethan learned she lived in an old bus behind a junkyard, that her mother had died years ago, and that she'd been on her own since she was 9. But when he asked about her mother's name, Lily whispered, "Clara." Ethan's world spun. "Clara, what was her last name?" Lily looked down. "She never told me. She said my father was someone she couldn't find again." He showed her the photo. Her eyes widened. "That's my mom. How do you have that?" Ethan's heart stopped. He dropped to his knees in the snow. "Because she was the love of my life." Lily stared, disbelief written all over her face. "You knew her?" "I more than knew her," he said, tears forming. "We were supposed to marry, but she disappeared before the wedding." Lily's voice cracked. "She told me once she ran because someone wanted to hurt you. She thought leaving would protect you." The truth hit him like thunder. All those years he'd searched for answers in money, in power, in buildings of glass. And she'd been living on the streets, protecting him from a ghost of the past. He pulled Lily into his arms. "You're my family," he whispered. "You always were." Months passed. Ethan adopted Lily officially. He bought her new clothes, enrolled her in school, hired tutors. But she refused to let go of her old ways. Every Saturday, she'd visit the same bakery and ask, "Do you have any expired cake?" When the baker smiled and said no, Lily would reply, "Then I'll buy some for those who still ask." 1 year later, on her 17th birthday, Ethan arranged a surprise at that same bakery. Dozens of children from shelters were invited, each getting their own slice of cake. When Lily arrived, she froze. "Dad, what is this?" He smiled. "You once asked for expired cake. I thought we could give everyone a fresh start instead." She hugged him tightly. The camera shutters clicked, journalists covering the billionaire's new foundation for the homeless. But Ethan didn't care about the publicity. He only cared about one thing, the look in Lily's eyes when she finally tasted that first piece of cake without shame. Later that night, as Lily slept, Ethan went through Clara's old diary once more. A folded envelope slipped out, one he had never opened before. Inside was a short letter. "If you ever find Lily, don't tell her who you are right away. Let her love you for your heart, not your name. Because love that's bought isn't love at all." Ethan smiled through his tears. He looked out the window, snow falling softly again. He whispered to the stars, "You were right, Clara. She loved me before she knew me, and that changed everything." Sometimes what we throw away, even something as small as expired cake, might be the thing that saves another soul. And sometimes that soul saves ours in return.